Here we are. What a great day the Lord has given us. Okay. Welcome, family and friends. We thank you for joining us on this very special day to witness the love and commitment of Katie and George as they enter into marriage. We are with you today not to mark the beginning of your relationship, but to publicly recognize and affirm the commitment that already exists between you. A commitment that has been woven together many silken, unseen threads. Your experiences together have established a bond, familiar language, a language that is spoken with and without words. You have established a knowledge of likes and dislikes, of habits and reactions, both physical and mental. You have made yourselves known to one another, and in doing so, you have established your bond of commitment. This bond is woven of loyalties and interdependencies and shared experiences. It is woven of memories of meetings and conflicts, of triumphs and disappointments. The bond of marriage, too, is made of all these things. By the nearness, by the closeness, by the knowing of each other. For the past 6 years, Katie and George have grown together, changed together, laughed together, cried together, and have worked hard together to build a strong and loving relationship. We would like to take a moment to recognize some of those important people in Katie and George's lives that are unable to be with us today. George's paternal grandparents, his namesake George, and his wife Joan, never had the opportunity to meet Katie, but would have loved her just as much as the rest of George's family does. George's maternal grandmother, Ruth, who passed away nearly 4 years ago, had known Katie for a couple of years and had grown to love her as well. In the final days of Ruth's life, she casually stated that if George and Katie ended up married, I'd be okay with that. Ruth would have loved to have been here today, and she would be honored to know that she's not only with us today in spirit, but that Katie is proudly wearing a beautiful necklace of pearls that belong to her. Katie's maternal grandparents, Teresa and Tony, passed away when Katie was a little girl, and they would have loved to join in on the celebration of their granddaughter's marriage. Katie's maternal uncle, Don, left us much more recently and much too soon, but his memory is carried on by his sisters, Sandy and Karen, and his wife, Chris, and son, Greg, all of whom are with us today. Katie's paternal grandmother, Doris, is still with us, but is unable to join us due to health problems. She's known George since he and Katie met in 2008, and wishes she could be here to see their marriage. Katie's paternal grandfather, Richard, also passed away long before George could ever meet him, but he is a constant presence in George and Katie's relationship. George and Katie started dating on January 19th, 2008, which would have been Richard's 85th birthday. Richard, like George's grandfather, was a huge fan of big band swing music and would have been thrilled to know that his granddaughter had found a husband who shared his passion. Furthermore, the ring that Katie is giving to George today was Richard's wedding ring, which he wore for 52 years of marriage to his wife, Doris. Though these people are unable to be here today to share in our joy in the celebration, the memories and lessons learned from them have helped shape George and Katie's lives, and in that sense, they have never truly left us. We would now like to invite George's youngest sister, Shay, over to read a poem by James Dillett Freeman titled Blessing for Marriage.
May your marriage bring you all the exquisite excitement marriage should bring, and may life grant you also patience, tolerance, and understanding. May you always need one another, not so much to fill your happiness as to help you know your fullness. A mountain needs a valley to be complete. The valley does not make the mountain less, but more. The valley is more a valley because it has a mountain towering over it. May you need one another, but not out of weakness. May you want one another, but not out of lack. May you entice one another, but not compel one another. May you embrace one another, but not out-encircle one another. May you succeed in all important ways with one another, and not fail in the little graces. May you look for things to praise, often say, I love you, and take no notice of small faults. May you have quarrels that, if you have quarrels that push you apart, may both of you hope to have good sense enough to take the first step back. May you enter into the mystery which is the awareness of one another's presence, no more physical than spiritual, warm and near when you are side by side, and warm and near when you are in separate rooms or even distant cities. May you have happiness, and may you find it making one another happy. May you have love, and may you find it loving one another.
Thank you, Shay. It is important for us to recognize that although their love and devotion to each other has created a strong bond between Katie and George, that they did not get here solely on their own. Katie and George would like to recognize their parents, for they were their role models in demonstrating how to love and how to be a good partner. They recognize how fortunate they are that their parents have been happily together for so long, and they look forward to following in their parents' footsteps. Rick and Sandy are in their 33rd year of marriage, and John and Karen are in their 31st. Okay, you ready? Today, the two of you stand somewhat apart from all other people. You stand within the intimate circle of your love, ready to publicly affirm a commitment made to one another in faith and in hope. And so with this gathering of family and friends as your witnesses, I would ask you, George, have you chosen Katie with freedom, with love, and with care to be your wife?
Yes.
And Katie, have you chosen George with freedom, with love, and with care to be your husband?
Yeah.
Mr. and Mrs. Joyce, having witnessed the commitment of the commitment made between Katie and George, will you offer your love and support to this marriage?
We do.
And Mr. and Mrs. Robinson, having witnessed the commitment made between George and Katie, will you offer your love and support to this marriage?
We will.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Who has the rings?
I do.
Okay. Oh, you're gonna go this side?
Well, I am.
Okay. There you go. Okay. George, as you place the ring on Katie's finger, please repeat after me. I, George.
George. Oops, sorry.
Okay. Take two.
Take two.
I, George, take thee, Katie, to be my wife,
I, George, take thee, Katie, to be my wife,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in joy and sorrow,
in joy and sorrow.
and I promise my love to you,
And I promise my love to you,
for as long as we both shall live.
for as long as we both shall live. Keep it together, Julie.
Okay, Katie. As you place the ring on George's finger, please repeat after me. I, Katie, take thee, George, to be my husband,
I, Katie, take thee, George, to be my husband,
to have and to hold,
to have and to hold,
in sickness and in health,
in sickness and in health,
for richer or for poorer,
for richer or for poorer,
in joy and sorrow,
in joy and in sorrow,
and I promise my love to you,
and I promise my love to you,
for as long as we both shall
for
live.
as long as we both.
The very nature of love is to want to give to another, to give ever more fully, feeling joy in the joy of another. How true this is of marriage love that brings you together. This calls forth the best qualities in each of you, seeking to break down the barriers of selfishness and mistrust and all that would keep you apart. This love opens the way to a deeper understanding and sensitivity enabling you to respond more fully to the desires and needs of each other. In this mutual growing together, you can gain an increasing respect for each other as persons, because marriage love never seeks to dominate or possess. As you stand here in this high moment, remember that love, loyalty, and trust are the foundations of a happy and lasting marriage. As you strive to fulfill the commitment you make here, your life together can be increasingly full of joy and satisfaction and of peace. I hope that in all the events of life, you will hold fast to the vision and the promise of this, your wedding day. May there be warmth and gentleness, growing and courage, love, laughter, and care. May there be joy and song of life through all the days that lie ahead. And by the power vested in me by the state of New Hampshire, I now pronounce you husband and wife. George, kiss your bride. Ladies and gentlemen, family and friends, I now introduce to you Mr. and Mrs. George Robinson.
There's a system.
Circle, circle.
Yeah, we do. After them, after them.